Hey guys, Shadowz here, welcome back to another Gears of War 3 video. Yes, you heard that right. Today we are going to be discussing and taking a look at DLC maps that were never released and also, obviously, that we didn't get a chance to play on for Gears 3. Gears of War 3 had a great DLC lifespan, offering campaign DLC with Ram Shadow, as well as in total 15 multiplayer maps, including new original maps as well as some returning fan favourites from previous Gears games, at the time obviously being only 2 titles. But just like every other game out there that goes through the development process, not everything makes it into the final retail version of the game, which of course includes maps. However, luckily, thanks to a guy known as Epic Error on YouTube, who somehow, we don't know why, has access to a playable Gears 3 build on PC, has allowed me to show you guys some exclusive gameplay footage of unreleased new maps that never made it into the full game. Firstly, we are going to be starting off with a few unreleased original maps. What you're watching right now is a map known as Blowout. Blowout is a very different kind of out there map compared to anything that we've ever seen or played on in all of the Gears games so far, as it is set on a woods green like mountaintop with multiple levels. There is a ton of different kinds of cover ranging from small rocks to trees, as well as nice little niche lanes that make use of the environment. And where this map is set, what makes this map very unique though is this sniper tower set on the one side of the map, which would give any player bird's eye view on the entire map itself, being able to see where all of the action is about to go down. The only negative to this tower though that I can see is that if a player isn't using their map awareness like they always should be, and is distracted by looking down below at all of the action going down, they could easily just get killed by a sneaky flank play. Next up is a map called Catacombs, taking place in what seems to be an old tomb with very small corridors, and I can just picture it now already being the ultimate shotgun fest. Grenades from smokes to frag grenades would most likely be very effective on this map, as players head down, wall bounce like crazy maniacs at players in what seems to be a maze of small spaces, as there wouldn't be anywhere obviously to escape to. There is a nice bigger area in the middle where all of these corridors seem to connect to, where a high damage power weapon, most likely something like the boom shot, would have been placed and just fought over, really giving a one team control of the entire of the map. For the next original map though, we have Mbar, which some players who played through the Gears 2 campaign might recognise, based on the chapter towards the end of that game's campaign where fire burns through a wooden like structure with the trapped brew mark, and then you go to ride it shortly after. Mbar makes use of the fire as a dynamic feature on this map, causing damage to players who just get way too close to it, as well as obviously creating some really interesting pathways where players could risk falling to their death quite easily. There is a higher platform as well, which is very much a risk or reward type of area with limited amounts of room to play on. Players could provide some really nice gunfire down below for their teammates, or obviously just fall to the bottom, causing instant death like most of us would probably end up doing. Next up, we are jumping into some Gears 2 maps, which at the time, obviously a good few amount of years now, Epic Games originally planned to remaster and bring to Gears 3. However, due to some frame issues and not just working with the Horde mode in general, never saw a release unfortunately. Allfathers Godin, originally a Gears 2 DLC map as well, was going to return, but with quite a bit of changes made to the original map layout, as you may notice already, as at first there are no bridges connecting the spawn room to the back middle of the map. You then have the jump up platform in the front middle completely removed, getting rid of that height advantage, which if I can remember back to Gears 2 was near enough impossible to try and push teams who had it in control for back in the day. It does seem like the changes Epic had made to this map were for creating choke points and forcing areas on the map to be where the team gunfights are about to go down, instead of just sort of like being scattered all over the place and all around the map as they were back in Gears 2. The next remastered map is River, which a lot of people want to see in Gears 4 right now, but this River did see a few changes made here and there, which would have really made the map play very differently. Epic Error did mention that Epic had played around with about 7 different versions of River, trying to get the map to work in Gears 3, because they knew that this map was very popular with the community, but unfortunately it never came to be. Most of the map, as you can see in the video right now, is quite similar to the Gears 2 version. A few bits of cover here and there just changed up to fit with the faster style of a Gears 3 gameplay. The main main change though, as we can see on screen, is this added ladder to the sniper buildings, allowing for players to climb up even further to the top of the building itself and enter what I've just literally just made up on the top of my mind, and I'm calling no man's land, as there is no cover up there. It's literally strafe or you die, but it would allow for some great communication for your teammates on where the enemy players may be at. Lastly, for the unreleased maps, the final map is Security, which is pretty cool as it's one of the recent maps the Coffins Studio as developers actually chose to release in Gears 4 recently. But just like that map version, Epic Games' returning Security also saw no map design changes, as it does seem that all of the developers share one thing in common when it comes to Security. They just know that this Security map works very well for all types of game modes. When it comes down to the original map design, I really do like the night setting here though, with the moon and the stars in the sky. The map itself has a very dark tone to it, which would have for sure changed up the pace of gameplay, as everything wouldn't have just been so obvious, as obviously everything is so much in the darkness. But then you step into the back alleyway inside the building on the back side of the map, and the map itself just changes with everything just lit up extremely. Players would obviously have to make some plays here to try and just grab control of the map with the backside, and obviously that scorch shot, which I think a lot of people do miss. So there you have it. That is a look at DLC maps that never released for Gears of War 3. You can find a link down below in the description to Epic Error's YouTube channel, where you can find a lot more interesting videos of early game builds. Please make sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what you think. If you could go back in time right now and decide for Epic Games on your own terms, would you have any of these maps that you saw in this video released as DLC maps for Gears 3? For me personally, I just really do enjoy looking at unreleased content, as it does show what could have maybe been, but for some reason never released in the full game. Seeing as how content like this can be literally just played by anybody who has access to it, really makes me wish that Gears 4 or maybe future Gears games could have community created content, as I know there are a lot of very smart and creative individual people out there in the community who would love the chance to create their very own content if they were given the chance, and hopefully the next Gears game from the Coffins Studio has that chance built into the game, as it would just mean that there would be a lot more to play for and mess around with friends, allowing for the lifespan of a Gears game to continue for years to come. Give the video a thumbs up and share if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you for watching, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.